Members, I really want to know how we got here. I've heard a lot said about this particular bill, and I've talked to many of you and many of my Republican colleagues. I've asked you the one simple question, and that was, why are we doing this? And I've got a variety of different answers. Many of those answers were surrounding, well, too much money, those professors are not teaching, or, well, the bill really doesn't do anything, or, you know, these teachers are teaching the wrong thing sometimes and you gotta reevaluate. So they're all over the place. And so it's interesting that if this bill really doesn't do anything, then why are we doing it? This is, once again, one of those, we're gonna over-regulate or we're gonna over-legislate nothing. If this bill doesn't do anything, if we allow universities to do what universities need to do, we often, or all the time we pass bills, we go to those special interest people because they come to us and say, hey, we have a problem, we need it addressed. But I talked to many of the universities and none of them said that they asked for this to happen. None of them said that this was even necessary. So the question has to be, how did we get here? The conversation happened over and over and over again. Why is there an attack on education? How all of a sudden, after all of these years of tenure being in place, now it is important that we start to regulate professors. We're even starting to regulate teachers. And it's all based on what everybody knows, and that is the leftist ideology that is permeating the walls of the institutions of higher education and in our schools, or indoctrinating our children. When in fact, that is the direct opposite. We don't want to overregulate education. We don't want to overregulate what our children and how our children think. I wish I could regulate how some of you think, because your ideologies and your thought processes are way out of control. You're saying that you believe in law and order, you don't want to be over-regulated, and here we are over-regulating. We heard and watched as every single day, we're banning books, and now because we're trying to make sure that we're putting a certain ideology in place. If the left ideology is so bad, how is not the right ideology good? Because it's not. It's simply not. The ideology is out of control. Most of you don't even believe half the bills that you vote on. And yet you still do it because you're being told to. But we don't know what this bill does. There is an attack on primary and secondary schools where we know there is a teacher shortage. There is a teacher shortage, and everybody says they care about education, but you don't care enough to make sure that we're taking care of the teachers that are teaching our elementary, middle, and high schools. And now that wasn't enough. You said, well, let's just go and attack professors. Let's attack professors. Let's attack how they teach. Because if, in fact, they start to teach critical race theory, we need to reevaluate them and get them out. The president and the Board of Regents can already do what you are saying you are trying to do with this bill. So why are we doing it? Once again, over-regulating and legislating nothing. So I want to just say this as I simply close, because I don't want to take a lot of time. The pendulum will swing back, and every harmful, hateful, idiotic bill that you put forth that is over-regulating everything, rest assured it will come back and get you. You will reap what you sow. So be mindful of all the things that are happening as we are passing these bills to over-regulate, legislate everything in this building. That pendulum will swing, and you are going to cry and say this is wrong.
Representative Cole, for what purpose?